Hello.
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 Hi, Harita. Good evening.
Hi. Good.
So you started recording.
Yeah, it started.
You're able to see my screen now.
Yes.
So these are the topics that discussed during our last class. So do you heard out any of the topics?
No, clear everything.
Clear.
Hmm.
Do you know what is CSS?
I didn't remember, but I heard that CSS somewhere. I don't know.
Cascading style sheets.
Okay, cascading style.
CSS means cascading style sheet.
Hmm.
So far we have seen HTML, right? But HTML was never intended to contain any of the format tags which is specific to formatting a document.
Mm.
It's mainly to render the content, not to focus on the formatting.
Okay.
Was intended to define the content of a document, like the headings and the paragraphs, whatever.
Yeah.
You can format something with a font tag, but it is not up to the certain extent with respect to the formatting. Whereas,
Okay, in formatting, we can't do up to certain level.
yeah,
I
like
mean, we can do only up to certain level.
up to certain level, like this. So suppose you want to change the color and so far to apply something, we can use
Hmm.
a font tag and all those things. But still, it's
Mm.
not up to a certain extent. Like, but whereas the
Okay.
CSS is having a lot of features with respect to formatting, because CSS is mainly focusing on the formatting.
Okay.
So CSS is called a cascading style sheet, which usually we save that file in the form in an extension called
Mm.
.css file. The .css files.
Mm.
With this CSS file, you can apply the user interface control throughout your website. Like, let's say for all my particular tags throughout my website, so I want so styles to be applied. So you can go for the CSS. So once you have given some style, and it automatically reflects throughout your project.
Okay.
Okay, so we have mainly
Okay.
three types of selectors: element selector, ID selector, and the class selector.
Mm.
Applying the style sheet, these are the three various ways. Okay,
Mm.
so when I say element selector, all the elements which are naming with so and so tag, for all those tags, if you write a style sheet specific to element, so all the elements which are following with that name is going to be applied with that particular element selector. If you have a paragraph tag, so uh, within your HTML page you might be having 10 paragraph tags. So when you apply your style sheet setting to a paragraph, so all the paragraphs which are there in your particular HTML
Mm.
page or in the website is going to be applied with that element selector.
Mm.
Small.
Mm.
style tag in order to define any kind of a style sheet within your HTML page. Okay? Style is a tag. Within that style, you can write a like any kind of a style sheet. Like so, right now, like I'm just looking at the element selector. The element selector means, let's say you have a paragraph. So I'm going to write some settings specific to it. So paragraph is a tag, right? P. When I say P means paragraph is a tag. So I'm applying some settings to paragraph. So what are the settings? Any settings? So I'm saying font family. Font family is the name of my font. And font size. And if you observe here, that there is a format that needs to be followed. Whenever you write some settings in your style sheets, property colon the value and semicolon and the next property. Colon value and semicolon, like that. You can write any number of paragraph settings.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, font family means the style.
Yeah, font name. Font
Okay,
family
font.
is the name of the font you would like to apply for a particular thing. So I would like to have my paragraph content to be so and so this. And I would like to have the size is this one. So I would like to have the color is so and so. Like this, you can apply any number of styles to your setting. Okay.
Okay.
So like that, you can design like any kind of styles to your page. For example, this is your paragraph, right? Paragraph is my paragraph. 3 paragraphs are there, right? 3 tags. So let's say I have not coded anything. So I just removed it. Just to show you how it looks like initially. So all are appearing in the same format, right? And nothing different. Now, because now we are applying a style at the element level means any particular tag level. Means I'm writing here a style sheet called paragraph tag, which contain all these properties. So that means paragraph, when I say paragraph tag, all 3 are paragraph tags, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to apply settings to all of them.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So if you apply anything, if I change, it's going to apply for all.
So if we want to apply for all the paragraphs, we need to keep it in a loop. Okay.
This is not a loop.
And loop not, but it is in some kind of braces between the.
This is configuring your settings at the for a particular element.
Okay.
You are just writing a settings here. So what does that mean? You are telling your HTML that this is for this tag, I want these settings to be applied. So as and when you start loading this page, when you start loading these set tags, it says that there is a paragraph tag. Do we have settings for the paragraph tag? Yes, we do have. So this apply all those things to this paragraph. Like that, wherever you find that paragraph tag, so it's going to apply all the settings to those paragraph tags.
Okay, we defined our paragraph. Okay.
So we define any tag. So the advantage here is for all the paragraphs. So right now, this style I have added in particular HTML, right?
Understood.
So if you apply this, if you want this style to be applied to throughout your website, how do you do? So you save all these settings in a separate file called CSS file. I'll show you that anyway. Separate.
Okay.
File. And you will load that file in all your HTML pages.
Okay. So if I don't want to give some of my paragraphs such type of styles, so if I remove the paragraph tag, then does it skips? I mean, just remove one
where do you want to remove the paragraph tag?
Just we will just.
If you remove the paragraph, only 2 paragraphs will be there on your screen.
No, not like that. Just I want three paragraphs, but I don't want one of my paragraph to have these styles. I mean,
Yes,
font style.
that's also possible. Then we need to go for the ID selector and element selector.
Oh, if we remove the paragraph tag, then then it won't
Remove the
happen.
paragraph tag means you are removing the paragraph tag altogether, right? Then that
Okay.
your question. So your requirement is, I want some of them to be in a different matter, right?
Okay, the paragraph tag, P tag is not only for the font style, but just we are defining that it is a paragraph. Okay, the
Yes.
P here.
See, I could show you there. I just removed a style. So then what you have seen, the default regular paragraph. This is how the default paragraph looks like in general in HTML. But I do not want this kind of a style. I want my own styles. That's what we did here.
No, I was thinking just you kept these paragraphs in between P, right here, head, body,
Paragraph
P.
tag.
Yeah, just I was thinking that if we remove this P from above the paragraph, so I was thinking that the font style would not apply for that paragraph.
Then that is not a paragraph. That is simple text that you are typing.
I got it. Just now I got it.
Got it.
Just now.
Now, if you want a specific things to be comes into picture, then
Okay.
you need to go for these two. So first ID. So
Okay.
advantage, if you think from advantage perspective, throughout your website for all the paragraph tags, this is going to apply.
Okay, for all the paragraphs.
For all the paragraphs throughout your website.
Mm.
If you save it in a particular file and include in all those things. Disadvantage perspective, so for all the pages is applying, right? So there are certain cases that I do not want those things to be applied.
Yeah.
Then you need to go for the customization. How do I customize? Yes. For all those guys, I have to give a name. Then only I can identify, right?
Yeah, understood.
I'm giving a name P1, P2, P3. Just a name to identify.
Okay.
Then only I can say I call a particular person, right? To do this.
Oh yeah, just we are giving a name to the paragraph. Okay, got it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying. So now I'm referring to ID selector. So the name itself is ID selector. So I would like to apply settings based on ID now. So if I write settings based on P1, it will based on ID P1. So settings will be applicable only for this tag, not for all. How do I write? If I write for a particular P1, so hash and the name of the ID.
Okay.
Then you can write what are the settings. I would like to say that.
Okay, hash. Okay,
Hash and the name.
Okay, hash and name. Okay.
So what is it here? If it is a paragraph 1, also if it is a P1, so that means any component on my screen whose name is P1, and apply these things. Meaning of this one, okay? I want the center, I want the color blue, that's all. For the paragraph 1, I said data should be centered and it should be in blue. Right? And remaining 2 still following the first one. Got it?
Yeah, understood.
The advantage
so it doesn't apply for the first paragraph.
It doesn't apply because actually it was applied on top of it, this is override.
Okay, just due to the hash you included, due to the reason?
It hash was, P1. If you look at it, so first, what is the first setting? Apply to all the paragraphs this setting. So irrespective of everything, it will apply first all these things. Then
okay, you defined the name.
P1, so there is a name, right? Then it will override with these things.
Oh, not the hash. You define particular name to the paragraphs. Okay.
Say ABCD. So whatever the name if you give, that name has to match.
Yeah, understood.
That name is matching, then you will get that setting. By chance, if that name is not matching, what happens? Well, the default setting will come. Now I gave wrong name, right?
Yeah.
This is called a ID selector. So advantage here is throughout your website, wherever this name matches for any element, name is P1, they apply these settings. Got it, right? So this is
Understood.
also completely, it's not in your control. This is like wherever the tag matches, this comes into picture. This is like wherever, suppose two guys are in a different HTML pages. So you're also naming your variable names, the paragraph tags and the other tags if given. Suppose I'm also naming with the same thing. What happens? Even though without my intention, styles will apply, right? Because the name is matching. This also like kind of a little control is not in with us, right? Fully. Then we need to go for the class selector. Means this is kind of a writing a function, and I'll call only wherever I require. Applies throughout your website, and this applies throughout your website wherever it matches ID. But this is not going to apply throughout. This is you are going to call wherever you require. Control is with you. You got it?
Okay.
So when I say class selector, you are going to write settings in the same way, but you are not going to apply to a particular tag. You are not going to apply to a particular name. You are going to write some settings. That's all. So,
Okay.
so dot is the, and you want to write a class selector. I can say oh, this is your setting name.
Okay. Understood.
Any name. So, but when you want to write your own setting, you need to prefix the dot any name.
Okay.
Then you write whatever the settings you wish. So I'll write any settings like that. You can write any number of settings. Assume that this is your setting. So if you want to apply these settings, what you have to do? I'll say this is a class, right?
Yeah.
This is like last one we are referring to it. What is that? It's a class selector. So I'll say
CSS selector. Okay.
so this is fully in your control, because if I want my style, I'll call like this. If I do not want, I do not call this. Though it's coded here, it will not be exported to any guy.
Okay, we are just what kind of style we want. We specify that style name in our class.
Yes, it's kind of like you have written a function. If you want, you're going to call that function. Otherwise, you're not going to call.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
You have written a function on a particular person. So wherever that person matches with that particular tag, it applies automatically. Without even like notifying you, right? So you guys are working on the paragraph. So that apply at the project level. So even though other guy also get the settings, right? We might not require sometimes. Sometimes we might require the same requirement than for this kind of style. There are cases that I do not want, or I want a specific thing. So I write my own name and whatever the name I wish, and I do all my settings and apply. Got it?
Okay. Okay. This hash p1 is ID element, and the below one.
And standard for all the tags, which is
standard for this.
and this
Yes, CSS.
the last one. That okay. Suppose right now we are writing tags to P1, this to P2, P3, right? So let's say we have H1.
So ID is important for every paragraph, right?
Not only paragraph, in generally.
And generally, okay.
Add ID.
Okay,
to have a control.
To have a unique identification. Yes. Okay.
If you want to identify a particular person, definitely have to give a name, right?
Yeah, right.
Then we go for ID.
Yes.
HTML, CSS, and JavaScript those are primary for the UI developers. We are not specific to UI developers. We are just, like in case if required, we'll jump on to those kind of work. But it is not our development. It's good to know kind of stuff. Our developers. These are not mandatory things.
Okay.
I'm just having H1 and H2. There's a couple of headings. Okay. So now here I have applied paragraph settings to only paragraph. Suppose if I want same settings to be applied to my H1 and H2. Suppose if I want same settings to be applied to H1 and H2. How do I write H1, H2? Then I got my settings, right?
Okay.
So this is one option. Here, what I'm doing, I'm just copy pasting, right?
Yes.
Task is repeating. So instead of that, what I can do, I can remove everything. I can simply say H1, H2. That means for all paragraph, for all H1, for all H2, do this.
Okay. Understood.
If I give a color or something. So cyan is a color now.
Okay.
So just the first, these are the three cases that we have seen. Now applying a particular style to multiple things. Applying style to multiple tags, right?
Yes.
To multiple tags. Same way you can go for multiple IDs also. So that means what you are doing? So you are applying directly on the fly for all the files. Clear? As of now?
Clear.
Applying to element, ID, and CSS.
Understood. IDs.
So we can apply CSS in three ways. One is with external styling, internal styling, inline styling. When I say external styling, with an external styling, you can change the look of the entire website by simply doing a CSS throughout your website. Means you are going to write all your settings in a separate file, and that file you are going to add it in your HTML. So externally you are having all the settings. You are just loading the settings into your HTML file. So wherever you load that CSS file to all your websites, it's going to apply. Right now, whatever we have seen here, this is called, what is this? It is an internal styling.
Yes.
Because all the settings, whatever I have coded here, are specific only for this HTML. If I add new HTML, if I add a new paragraph, this settings are not going to apply to that HTML because that settings are for that HTML, it's a different settings altogether. If I apply this thing, then it will apply those settings, right?
Yes.
So this we have seen the internal one. So now I'll show you the external one, how we can code. External one means, I told you, we need to create a separate file, right? CSS file. You can name anything.
Okay. So how you did?
No, general file. New.
Okay, just
New.
file. Oh, okay. Here others. Okay.
It's a general sample notepad kind of a file. It is when I say files.
Okay.
The only thing you need to give a style name a .css. That's all. You give a CSS, it will be in a CSS format.
Okay, just
it's a blank one. I create nothing else, but with an extension CSS. What I'll do, I'm just cutting everything into separate one. Okay. I saved it. When I run, am I going to get the settings?
Yeah.
We are not get the settings.
So you didn't got any settings?
We are not. We just moved into separate file. Did we know?
Okay,
Did
we
we
need to
loaded this
call
file
that.
in this one? No, right?
Yeah, we didn't call that.
Yes. If you're not loading, then you can. So when you are writing internally, you have to use style tag. When you are loading from externally, you have to use a link tag. Equal to. This is. Here's the file name. My. So something made a mistake. Link. This is not close the double quotes. Simple mistake makes doesn't apply at all.
Yeah.
So observe, right? Now we are loading this file into your program. Like this, suppose you have 10 HTML pages. In all those HTML pages, you just add this line. So whatever the settings you are writing here are going to apply to all those pages.
Okay, just you added that link. Okay.
Means like you are loading that
That
into your page. Once you load, it will apply automatically. So this is called external styling. Means you are having externally, and so if you want to apply settings to throughout your website, so definitely you need to go for external styling, because I'm not going to copy the settings to individual page. Right? I'll write it in one file. I'll load that file. In future, if there is any changes to a particular style, simply I'll come here and I'll modify this coloring as settings, whatever. Settings are going to apply it there.
Right? So you added only the link, or you just added the title also? Insert title here.
No, where here?
Here.
So the title tag is to display title here.
Okay.
Not related to this one. So title is
only the single statement we did. I mean, to add the my font style in this.
See. So here it's not displaying. The title is just to display only for that particular HTML. So here it's already there, right?
Oh yeah.
See, are you there?
Oh yeah. Understood.
Title tag is only specific to heading of the title of that particular HTML page.
Okay, page. Okay, got it.
So we cannot compare these two. This is just to give a heading for the page. So this is to apply settings for all your tags.
So just calling our font type, just settings. We used only that single statement link.
Exactly. So that means what you are doing, you are loading settings from this file.
Okay.
Once you load it, so it's going to apply all the settings automatically to these things.
Understood.
Understood, right?
Understood.
For suppose if I want for body text, I want all the settings to be applied. There's small color difference, right? Default is white, so now apply some color line and color. Change to throughout your right. As in the external styling and the internal styling. The next one is called the inline styling. So when you go for this kind of styling, it is like more of like you are controlling throughout your website, right? But there are certain cases that I do not want this to be applied to throughout your website. I want only for one tag. So you remember anonymous classes in Java? So go for anonymous. So only one time instance if I need to go, then I only go for anonymous inner classes, right? Means only once usage, or maybe minimal usage. That means I want my settings only for one paragraph. Rest of thing I don't care.
Okay.
Only for one paragraph. Suppose you have HTML heading tag.
Okay, so you want to apply the font style to only a certain features, paragraphs which you want.
Yes.
Okay.
So specific. Suppose I want my settings for right now. Let me show how it looks like. this, so I'll just remove this one, the body color. So color is completely off, right? So better visibility. So we made it to the. So I want inline style. I want style to be uploaded only for H1 tag, only for H1. So instead of writing a style sheet directly, I can go for that particular tag. I can write a style.
So everything is H1 right here.
Everything is H1. If you look at it, yes, all are H1. But I want settings only for this guy.
Okay, so then how can, okay, you specified, that's why it will change for that one, first statement.
If you write a settings based on name, suppose H1, based on H1, H2, for all H1, it has applied this one, right?
Yeah.
So suppose if you write something like this by ID, suppose right now I have not given IDs. If you given ID name as something, so if you apply settings to with ID, so throughout your website, wherever that ID matches, it will apply setting, right?
Yes.
And if you go for this one, you can call this one everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
So, but I do not, suppose assume that I do not want to go for this kind of thing, but I want still my style to be append. So only for particular element, simply I can write like this.
Okay.
So these settings, whatever I requested, only for this particular tag. This is called inline kind of a style. Means inline, on the fly, you are applying something.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood.
Throughout your website. This also throughout your website, wherever it identifies this name.
Understood. ID.
So this is kind of a writing, and wherever you write requires something calling. So
Yeah.
so this is available throughout your website also, right?
Yes.
If you wish, you can call. This is not available throughout your website. Only for that particular page and that particular component you applied a setting.
Anonymous. Okay.
It's kind of anonymous on the fly. Only for that particular thing, you apply setting.
Understood.
So it's going to apply settings only for that particular tag. Not to apply any kind of a component at all.
Understood.
Suppose you have a table, copy table from yesterday. So I'm just copying a small table which we have coded. Just copying a table from yesterday, so we'll apply some settings to a table. This is a table that we are getting. So you want to write some settings to the table level. I'll say a table th query. I want some settings. What are the settings? Border I want. So border, whatever the existing border, I'll remove it. Border equal to 1 pixel, sorry, black. In which page I've added. Even the removed border still. First, let me remove this as well. So applying the settings. Right? When I change the pixel, I'll give coloring. Got it? So instead of applying at the table level, I applied. So for all my tables throughout my website, I want border something like should be size so and so. I'll make it one. So I want some kind of style and I want the coloring. So what I can simply apply my settings throughout my website, right? Like this, I can apply throughout my website wherever I wish. Clear?
Understood.
So different ways is like one to add. These are the different ways, right? One is external styling, internal styling, and the inline styling. So if in any style, you can apply settings to your web. Clear now?
Yes, clear.
Do you know what is JavaScript?
No idea.
Okay. So JavaScript is also a programming language of HTML and the web. Okay.
Okay.
So we have seen HTML just to define the content of a page, and CSS is to define some kind of a layout and formattings, right?
Yeah.
JavaScript is to behavior applies on your particular page. Let's say you have seen the student format today, right?
Yes.
That we created. So there are certain cases that I would like to validate it. So usually when you create any form on the website, when you click on submit, data completely goes to the server, right? In general, when you
data
completely goes to the server, right?
Okay, yes,
General. So when it goes to server, what happens? Server is going to verify that whether the particular student number is valid or not, so whether the name has special characters or the so and so format is valid. Means all the things which is being verified at the server level, right? Means whatever user is entered, we cannot save, right? We want something to be validated. The data should be validated. Then only we would like to save. Otherwise, we would like to display something, some message. So you are sitting in a certain location, server is in some other country. When you hit a page, so definitely it's in milliseconds only, but definitely it goes through wire, it travels to that particular location and it processes that, right? So you are giving a burden to server unnecessarily for simple things. So server is not to perform simple things. Server is meant for something. So instead of like for simple things, or just to validate something and all those things. So for simple, so you know, so how the age format should be, so how the date format should be, right? Then not be special characters. For these things, I should not ask others to verify my data, right? I know like what kind of things needs to be done being a developer.
Okay.
If somebody submits a page, so in the same page itself, like we are going to write a JavaScript which is going to validate the data in that computer itself. Like let's say you are using computer in one location. So when I use JavaScript is going to validate the data in that particular computer. Means it is going to execute in that browser. So to validate that data, if something goes wrong, it will stop there. It will not go to server at all.
Okay.
So here you are reducing the burden to server. Earlier, for everything you are simply delegating the request to server. The server has to validate and server has to send it back if something goes wrong. Now you are not asking the server. So you are doing your job and doing validations, and if you think that it's valid, then you are asking the server. So server is here like just simply saves the data. Validate because your validation you are taking care, right? JavaScript is to perform some kind of a validations at the front end, using which you can validate the data before the data goes to the server. Okay? That's one of the primary advantages that we go for the JavaScript. So using JavaScript, we can have the control, we can change the behavior, and we can have some buttons to be clicked. And when you click on a button, you can invoke a particular function to be called, and all those things can be validated. Got it? The primary advantage.
Got it.
So we can
So everything we can everything is validated in the JavaScript itself. I mean it validates everything. The
yes,
script JavaScript.
the developer has to write the logic here. It
Okay.
doesn't automatically do that. But developer, when you write a logic, so that logic will be executed in your computer.
Okay.
Let's say you are sitting in one location, you are using computer, and
Mm.
save has located in some other.
Mm.
When you fill the data, when you click on submit, your data is traversing over the network to that computer, and there it's validating.
Yeah. In this.
What?
Okay. Mm.
So 100 guys are filling the form. So 100 guys data is going to send to server, and it's validated in the previous case. Okay?
Yes. Mm.
So 100 guys is not a simple task, right? Data burden.
Yes. So to reduce the burden, data, I mean server hitting, so we do that in our system itself.
In our system, like when you write a JavaScript in your website, so whoever is accessing that page, so
Mm.
in that particular computer itself, the JavaScript is going to be executed. We call it as a client-side JavaScript. It is. So client
Okay.
side
Okay.
whoever is not the regular client. So whoever is using that particular HTML page, invoke that particular page, in that computer itself, the JavaScript is going to be executed, and then it will allow you to proceed further if everything goes well.
Okay. Okay.
So we have to save JavaScript in a extension called JavaScript. Here also, you can write the JavaScript in the same page, same HTML page,
Okay.
or you can also externalize through separate file by writing a separate JS file. Difference is as usual. If you write your functions in the same page, all
Mm.
the settings are going to be applied only for that particular page, right?
Mm. Yes.
So
Mm.
if I write a function to validate some age, so
Mm.
that function is available only for that particular HTML. If I write all those settings in a separate JS file, and if I load this file in all my web pages, it will be
Mm.
in all pages, right?
Yes. Yes.
That process is altogether same. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll show
Same
you
like HTML. Okay. Got it.
like same like HTML.
Mm.
I'll take the student form which we have taken, student form, right? I'll
Mm.
just copy to today's date. On top of that, we'll check, we'll do the changes. This is your student form, right?
Mm.
So do nothing. So now what I'll do, I'll just change the label to validate. So validate and submit, I'm changing the caption. Okay, means
Mm.
when I click on this one, it simply submits without validation. So when I click on this one, it performs validation. But in real
Mm.
time, we are not going to give this button. We are going to give this button
Mm.
automatically performs the validation. So
Oh yeah. Mm.
yeah, you can write a JavaScript as usual. Type. Script is a type. You can see function. Assuming that there is a field called age. So I'm writing.
Mm.
I'm adding a page student age. I just added a student age separate field.
Student. Okay. Understood.
I created a validate. Validate input. So this is the function I'm going to call here. How do I call? On click is the event. I'm going to call this function.
Mm.
What I'm doing earlier, when I click on this button, nothing was happening, right? Now I
Mm.
added a small property that on click. So if somebody clicks you, call this guy.
Mm.
Okay. So
Mm.
automatically it comes here. I'm just displaying a message, sir, just to show you that whether it is invoking or not.
Mm. Mm.
Function to just display pop-up. Okay.
Mm.
Once it invokes, then we can write the other logic. First we'll see, right?
Okay.
So earlier when I click on this, nothing was happening. Now if I click on this, invoking my validation because I mentioned that on click what needs to be append. So on click, I mentioned some JavaScript name, right? And it immediately comes to that particular JavaScript file, JavaScript method. So this is a place where you can do whatever your logic. Suppose you want to validate a particular age. So what do I do? So here you have to give a name to your form because without name you cannot identify, right? So I'll say
Yeah, yes, without name.
document dot form name dot what is the field name age dot value. Just so commenting is double slash. So all the Java comments whatever we have learned same holds true. Okay.
Okay.
So I just commented this line. So alert is enter is entered is true, right?
Okay.
That means
Okay.
when you click on it, it's calling some function, and that function is having a control on this particular data. Observed, right?
Okay.
Right now, I'm just showing you only one field. The same for the other field, right?
Okay.
So I got the student age. Now, usually, right, how the age should be. If age greater than, or maybe you can say greater than 50. Right. Suppose I'm trying to apply validation only on the age. Suppose if it is greater than 100, something invalid age is enter less than 100. Any kind of information to the end user. Else, so what I want to do, I want to submit, right? So submit means whatever the submit was doing, same thing I have to do. So how can I do? I'll say document dot form name dot.
So why we gave F1 as we are having only one student form, right? It won't get confused if we don't give even the name also. Name is equal to F1.
If I want to call a person, definitely I have to know the name, right?
Yeah, but we are having only single person here. I mean, just student registration. I mean, okay, the students you are saying the particular student.
Students, right?
Okay, student.
All
Okay.
the student records are wrapped in a form.
Okay. So name is
if I
called
want to talk to this guy, this field had a form, right? First I should know what is a form. Then I should know the name, right? A document, what is the form name F1? Inside that, like, what is the field name and what is the value?
Okay, just we can go down that down. Yeah, form name this form name is F1. This my HTML. Okay, just we gave the name. What is my HTML?
Action. Yesterday, do you remember? When you click on a submit button, it goes to next page, right?
Yeah. I remember now.
So
Just okay.
now, when I do this one, and I do this, it gives my HTML automatically because there is action. If you're not giving action, it will come to the same page.
Oh, got it. So we are transferring it to the destination place.
Exactly.
And the form name is F1. Okay,
You
now
can give any name. So usually we just give form name and the student form and whatever the relevant name.
Okay.
So just validated only age. And if some problem with age, simply I'm stopping there. If there is no problem, I'm submitting further. Because age is the invalid age, please enter less than 1,100. So it's stopping there. Right? This is valid, right? When I click on it. So it has submitted to the next form.
Okay.
My HTML.html. why I got the error, because this file was not there in my folder.
Okay,
It was stored
okay.
yesterday, right?
Yeah, we stored my. We do have.
It's there in some other folder.
Okay, today's
Look
day.
at
Okay, understood,
under day
understood.
28, it is expecting. It is there in
Uh,
day 27, right? So just to demonstrate what I'll do, I'll just change the page name to something else, which is there in my
mm,
folder today.
understood, understood.
I'll come back, I'll load everything, and write something. Submit. So it's submitted to day 28, my page, which is called today.
Okay.
So all the age you have passed and whatever the value
Mm,
passed, it will submit it to this page automatically.
mm.
Clear now?
Clear.
Like this you can apply. So, as I told you, the commenting, whatever you have learned the commenting in Java,
Mm,
and you can apply as usual to throughout your website. So in the same way, so do not need to do anything
mm,
specific. Suppose you
mm,
want to apply this JavaScript to a separate function as a.
mm,
So now we have seen internal, right?
mm,
So if you want to go for external, so create a file.
mm,
You have to save with an extension called .js.
mm.
You go to your student form, take out this guy and do validation. Save, and if you apply, if you click on this button, what happens now? As usual, you cannot identify the function what you wrote, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm,
Because it was there in some other file, so you have to load that
mm,
file.
mm.
You can expect.
Okay, okay. So to work the buttons, we need to write the function over there. Okay.
So that's equal to, what is the file name? My validation.js. Validation.js. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it will show you the error.
Mm.
So now JavaScript validation is not in my page, it is there in some other page. It's an externalized finder JavaScript, right?
Okay,
Like that I
okay.
can
Just
write
we're calling
all
that.
my validations in JS file. I'll invoke wherever I wish, like this. It's going to
Oh,
the validation.
okay. Most of the time we do use that external one only.
External only will use.
Oh, in HTML also.
Next time also
Everywhere.
go for external.
Mm,
Because
mm,
you have a common control.
mm.
Clear?
Yeah, yeah. Understood.
Any doubts on the topics whatever we learned today?
No, clear.
And one more thing. Today's Thursday. I'll be on vacation from Monday. Will not be
Okay.
available. They'll be back on 12th.
Oh, okay.
Monday.
Long.
Otherwise, like it's like, for you, like it's, I can say like around 5 to 6 classes will be available,
Okay.
but it's unplanned vacation for me. So otherwise, you would have completed by the 10. So we'll be
Okay. So we are having only 5 to 6 classes. We are going to.
6 classes, just an average.
Okay,
I
okay.
cannot say 5 or 6, or it can be plus or minus. Just roughly,
Okay.
like it depends on the number of topics.
Okay, okay.
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 So we are having JSP and Servlets and other things like Spring and Hibernate, all things are there.
Hibernate. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So we are going to meet on 12th,
12th,
right?
12th, Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, okay.
I'll be reaching. So I'll be paying you the day morning itself. Like mostly I'll be available on that day.
Oh, okay. You will be available on 12th
12th.
also.
12th.
12th. Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
today is 30th. So from 1st to 12th, you can Monday 3rd, right? So you can just calculate from the Monday. I will not be available.
Oh, yeah, yeah. From next Monday only.
Yeah, next Monday, coming Monday.
Okay, coming Monday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is
Yeah.
Friday. Yes, yes.
Monday,
From
right? So
Monday
for
we are
this
not
week
having.
we are done anyway. For Monday.
Okay.
So I can say like it's roughly so
Okay.
7 classes I can say, right?
Okay.
That's 5
Yeah.
classes and these 2 classes. Okay.
Okay.
So meantime, probably you can practice on all those things. You can have a full revision from day 1 to till date. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
from the beginning, we can continue. Okay. Once
Okay.
I'm back, we will start with the new topics.
Okay.
Clear, right?
Oh, clear.
Okay, Harita. We'll continue after a long vacation.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Yeah.